This podcast is about the mirror, the fear, and a little moment the other day when I realised I had to get out of my own way. You're going to love this. So, have you ever had a moment where you felt like the universe was speaking directly to you? You see, the universe is always telling us something. They're asking us a question or showing us direction. And it works in patterns. I'm not good at maths, but I love the idea of it. So, because we're talking about sequences here, this message, this sequence, this pattern was following me until I finally listened. So this is called, you may look at this as reality as a mirror in modules 1 and 2 of the subscription group. So I was at the gym recently and I'm standing in front of the mirror, pushing weights, checking my form, and you know what it's like when you're in the zone. And this person, this woman, she walked directly in front of me and stood exactly where my reflection was, just completely blocking a view of my wonderful technique. And at first I felt a little bit irritated. I just couldn't understand. And so then checking in, it felt obvious that I needed the mirror. And because I'm in mid-set, I'm in mid-focus. So I'm checking in. So you pause. And because I teach that nothing shows up randomly, right? And excuse the pun, but we are mirrors for one another. So she actually turned and smiled at me briefly. She walked away to collect another weight, and I thought, okay, right, this female has no idea. Or does she? Because immediately a thought landed. See, the only person you ever have to overcome, because see, I love this. This isn't my favourite movie, the Rocky, is the mirror. Is the one in the mirror, shall I say? It's the one in the mirror. That's our main competitor. So the question from life itself is, are you getting in your own way? And so I'll talk about the fear and when fear broadcasts itself. And you'll find this in module 2 and 3 of the subscription group. So a few moments later, the same woman was on her phone, on loudspeaker, and clearly on hold for something medical, you know, the familiar on hold, and you can hear the familiar medical terminology. And so it's that waiting music and the unmistakable tone of hospitals, blood results, appointments. And I felt it in my body because it just went through and through, this frustration. You see, in my work, I'm supporting people constantly. I'm supporting people through anxiety, and a lot of our fear manifests through the body. And we live in a day and age where we're not only politically conscious, we're health conscious, we're everything conscious. And so personally, I'm navigating my own, I have body changes to adjust and to listen to, my hormonal shifts. So conversations I'll be sharing more about. By the way, I'll be doing podcasts on the body and how we can nutrition it. But what struck me wasn't the call, it was how loudly it filled the space. It boomed through the gym. And suddenly, I became aware of how much fear we collectively broadcast through social media, through the headlines, first through worst case stories, cancer scares, doom. So the anticipation of what might go wrong, I realised that Well, I realised for many of us, we want to, getting checked in, going in, means getting checked out. And we will reach for externalism to okay us. So it isn't just about the body, by the way. This is the inner child asking an authority figure, am I okay? Am I okay? So let's talk about the body. The inner child, the authority, and existential fear. Module 5 in shadow work in the subscription group. So that moment brought me back to my own childhood, growing up in a faith system. Some of you may know my background. And as with faith, underlying faith, it's always rooted in punishment, disease, consequences, where fear lived close to God. And I learned to seek reassurance from my father, from authority, from something outside of me that could tell me I was safe. I was safe. And that's existential fear, by the way. Not fear of death, but it's the fear of being wrong, being unsafe, being punished. So suddenly, standing in that gym, I could just feel that old pattern. I could feel how old that pattern was, should I say. And the call on that loudspeaker kept getting louder and louder. I'm thinking, this is impinging on my peace. This is what I was thinking. This is impinging on my peace. I'm feeling very unjust. Is that the word? Where I moved, she followed. So different weight section, same sound. And life doesn't chase you to punish you, by the way. These habitual patterns, it follows you until you become conscious. Someone said to me, how do I drown out this noise? And I just said, well, you listen. You listen more. So, projection, triggers, let's talk about that. Eventually, my patience went. I felt annoyed, just overstimulated. And so, yeah, I'm self-aware enough to know she's not the problem. She's not the problem. She was the messenger. And so I kind of took myself off. Stormed off is such a ironic word, isn't it? And then something unexpected happened. A man stopped me and he asked, "Are you okay?" He probably heard the noise too and felt equally as annoyed, but I don't know. He said, "Are you okay?" And he shared his own anxiety. He told me how, he was up at night with various fears, and told me what he'd been through, and consequently how a car had recently come around the corner and nearly hit him. And then that was it. That was the moment that I could really feel through this message here, because you can always tell because the body softens. And in that moment, it just was clear to me. It was clear. I could understand the aggravation. When it's your time, it's your time. You can't control life by worrying about it. And so you don't avoid death by fearing it. I felt, that message was exactly that. That's what the car represented. It's like you can worry all night that it's your time, but when it's your time, it's your time. And so let's not avoid living. See, the true examination comes within, it comes within, by all means, getting checked, but listen to your body, respect your health. And the deeper examination is internal. What frequency are you broadcasting? What frequency are you publicising subconsciously? What do you emit into your atmosphere, into your environment? Who are you impacting with your vibration? What old story keeps playing on loudspeaker inside you? So, because reality doesn't respond to logic, it responds to signals. Doesn't matter how good you are as a person. Universal law doesn't follow those rules. Sometimes the most loving thing life does is put a mirror right in front of you, and it says, it's time to get out of your own way. It's time to get out your own way. So, closing this down, putting a little bow on this as we wrap this up. Awakening is the inner authority. Awakening the psychic within isn't about predicting outcomes. Bit of a cliche, that. See, there's more to psychic mediumship than meets the eye. It's about becoming your own authority. So your inner child no longer needs permission to feel safe. So fear doesn't run the broadcast. You stop racing for life and start meeting life. And when you listen inward, we go in to collect our income. Stop checking out. That's your expenditure. The noise outside no longer controls you. So, this little gentle call to action is about the work we do inside Awaken the Psychic Within. Learning to read the signs continuously and regulating the nervous system is key, and coming home to self-trust. So, not through fear, through self-awareness. I hope you found this interesting and food for thought, and it felt really important to share. So please, as always, I invite you to share what's come up from you, and keep feeling through each moment to moment.